Hey everybody, this is Candace Yvette with Black Women Aware. First, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who comes by and supports my page. It really does mean a lot to me. If you all can please press the like or dislike button and subscribe, comment, or even email me if you have any suggestions, questions, or concerns. My email is always going to be in the description box. Again, thank you for visiting my channel. Hey guys, it's Candace Yvette with Black Women Aware. So I had to jump in real quick and give this message. First, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for visiting my page. Thank you for showing support and being concerned about the injustices that Black women and children face every day in the United States. I really do appreciate your support. You don't know how much that means to me, especially because I myself am a Black woman. I'd also like to put this quick disclaimer out there. Do not come to my page victim shaming or blaming. You will be immediately blocked for that. I do not tolerate it. There is no need for it. And I'm pretty sure you knew what you were saying in the comment before you posted it. So be respectful. Many of the victims, their families come back and they visit this page. I am their advocate. This is their safe space. No disrespect will be tolerated. You all have a good day. I'm going to let you go back into the commentary. Every 5.5 hours in the United States of America, a Black woman or child is murdered. Stop killing Black women. Stop killing Black children. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Candace Yvette with Black Women Aware. So I know I have been out of the loop for a little while. I have been taking care of business. I do have another business. I have a cake business. And since I just moved to a new city and state, I have been trying to expand my cake business here in the new city and state. I've also been, just trying to get my children integrated here and comfortable here. And we've just been trying to, learn our surroundings and adjust our lives here in the new city and state and everything. I do have plans on advancing Black Women Aware. And I want to take it further than just the missing and murder cases of Black women and children. I do want to expand it more, especially to the survivors of some of these crazy toxic relationships or situationships in some of these women don't know these men. Some of these women are their lives are taken from them just because they rejected a man. It's not always the situation where they were in a relationship with this person and things escalated and then their lives were taken. Some of these situations, these women did not know these men from a hole in the wall. And these men murdered these women, right? So yeah. So that's where I have been. So I'm just going to go right into this video. On this video, I'm going to be discussing, I'm just going to call him the Toby dude, Christian Toby, Abum Seli, or however you pronounce his name. I'm going to call him Toby dude. I'm going to be discussing Toby dude's case, and I'm really not discussing this because I feel like it's a problem of Black women's, or I'm trying to push Black women to do something. I'm really discussing this because I noticed the hypocrisy of Black men when this story came out. So a few months ago, I shared a story about a woman who was from Chicago, Illinois. Her name was Treasure Hendrix. Treasure Hendrix was like one of my biggest stories on this channel. That was the video that kind of went mini viral on this channel. Black Women Aware doesn't really get that many views. So when one of my videos just out of the blue goes into the thousands of views, I have to wonder why that video and not the others, especially being that the other cases and stories that I've shared on this channel, at the time I was seeing it like it's no different. Treasure is no different than Cheyenne. Treasure is no different than Darion. Treasure is no different than Tanisha Pugsley and all the other black women and their stories or their cases that I've shared rather on this channel. She's no different, right? So I had to wonder, what is it about Treasure that her video, the views are going up, but they're not going up for the other cases, right? So at first I thought it was because of the way that Treasure left this life. I thought it was because of her mysterious passing. Treasure's remains were found on the property of a man of no color who she was dating. And that man just so happened to be a Chicago police officer. And after her remains were found, he just immediately resigned off the force. And that's what I thought it was at first, because that story was not getting any hits. It was not getting any attention until I shared that video. And some of my content has even made it on TikTok. And I really do need to make a TikTok for Black Women Aware. Because some of my content, surprisingly, for my channel to be so small, it's made it to TikTok. And the majority of the videos that made it to TikTok are having to do with Treasure Hendrix, right? So when I ruled out that her mysterious passing was not the reason why Treasure was getting views, then it went on to, my comment section. In my comment section, self-hating, derelict black men pretty much exposed their hand and let me know why Treasure was getting the numbers that she was getting. Now, part of the reason why that video was getting numbers, obviously, is because black women and other people who cared enough to share the story and get awareness brought to Treasure's case and help, their hearts were in the right place. That's part of the reason why her story was getting shared. But in the eyes of black men, her story was also getting shared because Treasure had been dating a man of no color. Now, mind y'all, and from now on, I'm going to, before I delete and block these people, for those of y'all who don't know, Treasure's video is what caused me to put that message in my introduction on all of my videos, that, hey, if you leave a disrespectful comment, you knew what you were writing, I will block you. You will be immediately blocked and your comment will get deleted. Treasure's video encouraged that. It influenced that. Right? Because when I made that first video trying to get awareness to Treasure's story and her family's plight, it was black men all in my comments, and they were literally saying she deserved death. She deserved to die because she should not have been messing with a man of no color. Now, with this Christian Toby situation, what I've learned, hindsight is always 20/20. One thing that I've learned is I should start screenshotting and saving the comments that I get before just deleting them. Some of them I was going to share with y'all, but at that time I was thinking like, hey, I'm not going to waste my time on these derelict black men, because it's a black woman or a child being murdered every 5.5 hours. I do not have time for them and their dereliction. And most black women who have been hanging out in the BWE spaces, you are pretty much aware of how they think about black women anyways. You don't need anybody to share what we already know, what they show us anyways, right? So fast forward to this past week, and I am again minding my business after a long day of 12 hours of being on my feet, baking and running back forth to the store and doing dishes and cleaning and doing inventory and all that comes with having a baking business. I come across Toby Dude's story. And for those of y'all who don't know, Toby Dude is a Nigerian American man. He and his woman of no color girlfriend were living down in Florida, in Miami, Florida and all. I don't know exactly what went down, but at the end of it, Toby Dude ended up losing his life, allegedly by the hands of this woman of no color, right? And I'm not going to say her name because her name has not been officially released. You can easily go on any social media platform, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you can think of, and find her name. I'm just not going to say it because I don't want my video taken down. I don't necessarily know how all of that works, right? But anyways, so yeah, he lost his life allegedly by the hands of his preference. And what they found is, because the family had put up a GoFundMe, and it's weird for a high value man to have a GoFundMe. That's odd. But anyways, I'll move on. His family had put up a GoFundMe asking for donations, and Paris said this out of her own mouth. I don't like mentioning other content creators on Black Women Aware, but Paris Milan, shout out to her. She said that she broke the story. She said that she broke the like with the tweets and everything. Paris said that she broke that, and she wasn't getting her just deserved. She was not getting her credit for breaking the story with the tweets, because in these tweets he had a bunch of very evil. It was past degrading. It was past disparaging. It was evil, saying evil things about Black women, especially American Black women, right? Saying just evil things. Yet, fast forward today, his family, his Nigerian family, are calling for the grace and mercy of these same Black peoples, wanting us to donate to their GoFundMe. Odd, but I'll move on. So I wanted to do this video, and I was enraged by the hypocrisy of derelict Black men, because they got all over the video I did about Treasure Hendrix, and was saying how this young woman deserved death because she was with a white man. But now we flip it, and you have this derelict Dusty who died by the hands of a non-Black woman or a white woman, and now they want us to have grace and mercy and say, oh, he didn't deserve that. I'm not that graceful. I say he played the hand he was dealt. That's the bed he made, and he need to sleep in it, and I'm not going back on that. And I hate to even say this, but after all the years of when you work, this is a scary thing about people like me who have worked in the medical field for so long. When you have seen so much death around you, somebody just dying does not affect you like it would somebody else who does not work in the medical field. I'm not saying, like, for example, I can't work with children. Because if I see a child even cough, it's going to break my heart. Okay, I cannot. That's where my burnout comes with children, because I absolutely love children, right? But when you see an adult die, I don't care if it was a traumatic death. I don't care if it was a good, what they call a euthanized or a euthanasia type death, where like say they had a terminal illness, and them being gone or them passing away is better than them being alive, because when they were alive, they were suffering, right? I don't give a damn what kind of death it is. And a lot of medical people probably won't admit this, but I'm going to be the first to admit it. Death does not affect you like it would the general public. I'm gonna just keep it A100 with y'all. I don't give a damn about this man dying. I'm still gonna get my 8 hours of sleep at night. But what I found that was odd with his passing is Black men are all over these YouTube streets and everywhere else, and saying, and it's ignorant shit that they saying. And Black women, some of y'all really need to learn how to pick the brains of these men, or debate. You have to learn how to ask them the questions that the right questions. Some of y'all just give in to what they're saying, or you quick to give excuses. It annoys my very fucking soul. For example, let me give y'all an example. So this one Black dude got on his video, and he was saying, oh, well, them tweets was from 10 years ago. And y'all bringing up stuff from 10 years ago. And that shouldn't matter, because that's how long it was ago. And how y'all don't know that he didn't change his views. So I got my ass on there, because the other Black woman, she just wasn't she wasn't doing shit. She wasn't hitting the nail on the head for me. She wasn't doing it good enough. She was saying shit like, oh, okay, well, he still was talking about Black women. And I'm like, no, that argument isn't good enough for me. So let me interject. And I have an alter ego. I ain't gonna tell y'all her name, but my alter came out, right? So I got on there and I said, that's odd that in this case, we cannot say anything about these evil tweets and what she said about black women and girls, because it was so much time ago. It was 10 years ago. So we shouldn't bring it up. Right. I said, but I've noticed something. I've noticed on Facebook has this thing to where they call it memories. And you can hit on that memories tab and it'll take you down all the shit, down all the posts you done share, all the shit you done commented on, and whatever, all the posts you done wrote. It'll show you all your shit that you done wrote from years ago, right? And I've noticed, because I had a Facebook account. I got off of Facebook recently. I had a Facebook account for 12 years, and it was showing me shit that I had wrote back in 2010 and all. And some of the shit I acknowledged, and if I didn't agree with it 12 years later, I deleted it. I didn't just delete it, I acknowledged it and then deleted it. You know what I'm saying? And me having a cake business, I could not just delete it, because in these social media streets, people screenshot shit all the time. You don't know who got it and backed it up, and you quietly deleting it and not acknowledging it. It still will linger in people's minds because you didn't address it. You did not address it. You just deleted it. So, for example, like they was doing Kevin Hart, like the rainbow community, no offense against them, because I know they sensitive, but they was coming after Kevin Hart's because Kevin Hart's had a comedy stand-up where he was talking about his child, and he didn't want his child to be affiliated or come out a part of the rainbow community, right? And they got on his ass. And he acknowledged it and, said he was sorry or whatever. I don't really know because I wasn't paying attention. But basically why I'm bringing up Kevin Hart is I'm saying people can save stuff or look shit up on you, and you thinking just because you deleted the shit, didn't nobody notice. You don't know who the fuck got dirt on you. You either should not post that shit, or when you did post that shit all them years ago, acknowledge it. Come back and be like, hey, you know what? I was dumb as shit back then. I'm more educated now. I realized that those things that I said were horrendous, and I shouldn't have thought that way. And people, you know what I'm saying? You have to come out and acknowledge that shit. You can't just goddamn delete it and hide it and push it under the rug. But Pete, Toby did none of this. He didn't delete it. He didn't acknowledge it. He left that shit up. So what I was asking this derelict, because I noticed the black woman who was responding to him was a younger black woman, and he was trying to corner her ass. So I had to jump in there and advocate for my little sister. And I came up in that bitch and I said, dumbass, I said, if he didn't feel that fuck like he felt back in 2012 when he wrote that ignorant ass shit, why the fuck is it still on his motherfucking accounts? Answer me that. Why is it still up on his accounts if he didn't feel that same way? If he didn't still feel that way, if I was a man, and I have to put myself in the shoes of a black man, because black women pretty much don't have self-hating values. The majority of black women don't. There are some here and there, but the majority of them don't. You might find a handful of Candace Owens, but you're not going to find no whole majority like you do with black men. With black men, you don't sift through for the bad ones. You sift through for the good ones, because so many are bad and toxic. You sifting through for the good ones. You know what I'm saying? To see a good black man who has confidence of himself, love who he is, that is a motherfucking unicorn. With black women, you going to see that shit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You have to sift through for bad black women, because bad black women are few and far in between, right? But if I say I was a black man and I had wrote all this ignorant ass shit or whatever, another reason how you can tell he still felt that way, those were his sentiments. He still lived by that, because look at the woman he with. He was still dating outside of his race. Not saying that self-hating men don't date black women, but I'm saying that this man, I was like, if he had not come out and said, okay, I was young then, that was dumb as shit, and he still, and it ain't even the fact that he's still with those women, because personally, especially me over here on this channel. You know, other BWE content creators, they talk about who these black men are dating. I talk about the murders and missing cases of black women and children. And those numbers, they're getting murdered every 5.5 hours. I personally think that black women should date out more and expand their options. I personally do not want to see black women with a black man just because. You don't know what the fuck you do with this motherfucker. He don't do shit for you. Nothing. No. So I'm not saying he has to date us or he's obligated. No, you could date who the fuck you want to date. But it's the fact that people don't, your walk would tell me who you are better than your talk. I've taught my own. I have a teenage son. I told my son, you know, because my daughter, she's still a baby. She doesn't understand none of that shit. She's a baby. You know, when she get his age, I'm going to teach her ass too. Fuck what people talking about. Watch they goddamn walk. Because you can't get outside of your walk. Whatever you are and whoever you are, you going to show it in your walk. You going to know a motherfucking tree by its fruits. Right? So I'm not hating or bad or anything that he was with a woman of no color. But I'm saying that relationship in itself further proves that 10 years later, he still lived by those same sentiments. He did not acknowledge those comments from 10 years ago and say, hey, you know what? For real, I was wrong. I was ignorant for saying that shit. And I shouldn't have said it. I've learned. I've grown. He didn't say none of that. He left it up. He didn't even delete it. He left it up. Paris didn't find it. I'm assuming that Paris Mulan did not find them goddamn tweets because he deleted them and somebody close to him had them saved in their phone and emailed Paris and hit her up and say, hey, Paris, look at this. No, Paris said on a live just recently, Paris said she went on his page and verified those was his personal tweets that was still up. So that's how you kill them kind of arguments when they say, oh, that was 10 years ago. Okay, but he left that shit up, though. He left it up. And his lifestyle proves that he still lived by those sentiments. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying my best to get out of eye for an eye. I really am, especially because I do believe in God. I ain't going to call myself a Christian because I don't do everything I'm told to do. I'm not a faker like most of these people nowadays who play up in y'all faces and get y'all to not believe in God no more because they not living, they not practicing what they preach. Over here, Candace keeps it real. Okay? I don't live no goddamn lie. That shit too hard. I can't keep up with that shit. I tell your ass something, forget what I said, and then the truth come out later. I can't do it all. I'm too old for that. Okay, I am too fucking old for that. But that man, his lifestyle resembled who he is. They said even some of his friends, allegedly, they said, fuck just the girlfriend. They said even some of his friends were, you know, the R word against black people. Right? They did not like black people because they're black. Yet you get these same men who want black women to have grace and mercy and, oh, just disregard the posts because they were 10 years old. These same motherfuckers, y'all came up over here, and if Treasure was not already dead, they would have killed her with them degrading comments that they was writing all over my video. Talking about she should be dead because, well, fuck it, Toby should be dead because he was with a woman of no color. How that shit sound? If we ain't advocating for shit, I'm not capable for a goddamn thing. And every time I see that Down syndrome looking have a motherfucker, I'ma laugh. How do that shit sound? Because that's exactly how the fuck y'all did Treasure Hendrix. I'm not having no grace and mercy for no motherfucker who was on the internet doing everything short of wishing death on black women. And then it was a black woman on TikTok talking about, well, this could be your brother. Black women, literally, and I know personally firsthand, I know this shit better than any other BWE content. If, I could say a few who on my level, but if you don't have no kids, you're not on my level. You cannot speak as a mother. I know this shit better than any black BWE content creator who does not have kids. We carry black men in our wombs. My son was my toughest motherfucking pregnancy. My daughter was scheduled. I didn't feel contractions and all that shit with her. They scheduled her. Before I even had a contraction with my daughter, they came in and they took her. They got her out. It was a scheduled C-section. My son, I damn near died within 10 minutes of my motherfucking life getting them here. Okay? We carry these people in our bodies. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I get so irritated deep in my core when I hear black women say, oh, well, this could be your brother or your daddy. Okay, but these whole ass niggas get on across multiple social media platforms and say disparaging shit about black women, yet we literally drop these motherfuckers out of our wombs. We are insides. You know what you got to do to create a baby? That baby takes from your nutrients, and people think that they eat for the baby when they get pregnant. No, you eating for your goddamn self. Fuck around and don't get enough calcium in and be pregnant. And don't be surprised when your goddamn teeth fall out because that baby done pulled that calcium from your ass. That is degrading to a whole nother level. It's not just about black men's dating options. I don't give a fuck who black men date. I didn't give a damn back in the day because back in the day, I did not know about self-hating or anything like that like we do now. First time I came in contact with a black man who was self-hating was 2003. I was 17 years old. And because, Lord forgive me, I know I got to be living my life better than what I am. Because I'm not living like God want me to. But I can't deny the gift that he gave me and the fact that I can discern spirits. I can discern my own demons. I know, the cussing. That's why I'm always mentioning cussing and that I have to stop cussing because that's a demon. But anyways, that self-hating black man, the first time I ever came in contact with anybody like that was 2003. And when I looked in that man's eyes, it was nothing but darkness. It was nothing but darkness. Now, mind y'all, I said the first time I came in contact with a self-hating black man was 2003. I had been around interracial couples, black male, white female, since the early to mid 90s. And I had never been offended by them. To me, it was a grown man dating a grown woman. I don't know if that's partly because I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. I don't know if that's because I came from a household where both my parents was involved. I don't know what that is, but I was never offended by that shit. Black women have been saying the same shit for many years. It's not the relationship we're offended by. It's the shit that they say about us. That man, when I met that man, and I'm going to give y'all a quick rundown of the story, then I'm going to get up off of here because I believe I've told this story before. When I met that self-hating black man, I actually met him through his girlfriend. Me and the girlfriend worked together. She ended up being a good friend. She was cool to work with, hard worker, lighthearted, laughed a lot. We got through our shifts real easy together. We ended up getting real cool, right? And she invited, I don't know why the fuck, now that I'm older, I would tell y'all why I think it was after I tell y'all the story. But back then I didn't know why she was inviting me to her house, especially because when I got to that damn house, one, the dude you with don't like black women, even though he was darker than me. He was Bernie Mac black. Now I ain't trying to make fun of his complexion. Ain't nothing wrong with being dark skinned, but I always find that odd how dark-skinned men have the most colorism. And you darker than, I'm about the same complexion as Will Smith. I got my complexion from my father, by the way. My mother is a dark-skinned woman. I'm about the complexion of Will Smith, yet this man looking at me it was just odd. I couldn't understand it. It's almost like hate me because, just like the Bible say, I got a speck in my eye, but bitch, you carrying around a log on your motherfucking back, but you hate me for my little wood speck. You know what I mean? Hypocrites. But anyways, so before we even get to her house, cause we go home, we go to her house. And before we even get to her house, she was like, Candace, I'm with a black man. Do that bother you? Now, this is the first time I'm ever being asked this, and I done seen a couple. I didn't see many back in the day, but I seen a couple interracial black male, white female relationships, and they never bothered me. So when she asked me that, I thought that was odd. I was like, no, that don't bother me. Like, I'm thinking of it on an individual level. Like, that's your dude. I don't know him. Why would I be offended? I could see it back in the day. I had crushes on certain dudes. I could see if it was one of my crushes, then I'd probably feel some type of way. But no, I don't know him. Why would I be mad, right? We get to the house. The house is filthy. When I see this house is filthy, this is back when flip phones was just starting to pop, and Motorola and Nextel had the chirp and everything. That was just starting to pop. And I had one of them phones, and I ended up, like text messaging was just starting to pop too. Ended up, I don't know if I called or text somebody and I don't know if I called somebody or hung up or text somebody, but I made it seem like when they called me back, I acted like it was an emergency so I could get out of there, because y'all, that house was nasty. And I knew I wasn't eating up in that house. It had a mattress up in the front room. The colors, it looked like the house was kind of abandoned. And then it looked like, because the rooms, the front room was like painted a dark blue and had a mattress on the floor. I don't know if it was a trap house or not. I don't know what it was, but the house looked like it needed a whole lot of attention, right? And so something just clicked, and something was like, and I'm 17 years old at the time. I had never been in no environment like that. Something just clicked and said, don't stay here. Get the hell up out of here. So when the dude seen me and he met me, it was almost like he was going in, like the demon in him was coming in and out, because he would look at me individually and be like, damn, Candace, you cool as hell. But then the demon would come back and he would say, oh, I don't deal with black women. And so he would go in and out of it, right? And then, as I told the girl, I'm like, hey, I got this emergency. I can't stay. I have to get ready to go. And as we're walking, because we're on the front porch now, me and her done came on the front porch. She tells me, she like, Candace, I think you cool people. You like one of the first black girls I've been able to bring over here. And he not immediately put her out. But he's probably going to make me cut you off. Right. And so I'm like, well, why? Because me and you, we vibe well. This is like my little work buddy, y'all. I didn't know her that well outside of work. Right. But anyways, we had that conversation, and after a while I didn't hear from her no more. And it dawned on me that what she said ultimately came to pass. The guy made her cut me off because he didn't want her hanging with any black women. I'm personally thinking, now that I'm older and it's like 20 years later, I'm thinking he didn't want her hanging with black women because black women was going to put her up on game. I'm thinking he was making her sell herself, and he was probably sending her out to scout for other young women that he could traffic. And I didn't fit the prototype. Let me tell y'all something. And I know I veer off into different subjects and topics all the time, but at the end of it all, it's going to come together. If you're dark skinned, if you're a big girl, if it's something about you that toxic black men don't like, you ought to thank your lucky stars. You ought to thank heaven. If you believe in the stars, bitch, thank the motherfucking stars. If you believe in Jesus, thank Jesus. He gave you something that they consider a flaw, because I think it was ultimately that I was a big girl that man looked at me and was like, nah, she can't be trafficked. So sometimes when you have these flaws that they don't like, your flaws is actually your protection. You know how they say rejection is a protection. I think everything that's happening in the black community with black women and I think black women, I think it's almost like God allowing all of this shit to happen, because he's like, take the fucking blinders off. Y'all need to see these men for who they are. You know what I'm saying? God is not, he's not the author of confusion. He's not the author of confusion, but he's also not ever going to override your free will. And I have to bring free will up because this is a channel that talks about the missing and murder cases of Black women and Black children. And one thing that I know from my own personal experience of being in a toxic relationship, especially with a Black man, because these men face different things that other men don't face. So they go through different challenges, and you're dealing with all this. You're dealing with everything that they deal with when you're in a relationship with them. And you're dealing with the stuff that they don't deal with about themselves, like their mental health, they past traumas. You're dealing with all this shit that they don't take care of. Because they thinking they're absolutely normal or nothing is wrong. It's like you dealing with a demon walking around in the shell of a human body when you dealing with somebody toxic like that. So Tanisha Pugsley, Darian, Cheyenne, all of these beautiful young women, Alexis, I understand them because I was them. I don't look at them and say that was my sister. That could have been my sister. That could have been my mother or my daughter. I look at them and say, hell, that was me. Treasure was me, goddammit. Treasure could have been me. Laura Smith Fields could have been me. Cheyenne could have been me. Darian, Tanisha, that could have been me. You know what I'm saying? So I think the thing with free will that we need to understand, and one thing that I understood about free will and dealing with God is because people like to blame God. People like to get on their platforms and say, I don't believe in God because he allowed this happen. No, you have to think about what the enemy is doing, and you have to think about what you're doing. It's always three different entities. It's you, God, and the devil. It's your will, God's will, and the enemy's will that's working. God is anchored to his word. You know what I'm saying? I might cuss, I might do what the hell ever on this channel, but one thing that'll never shake with me is I do know God. I do know spirituality. I know spiritual warfare. God is anchored to his word. He say right there in that Bible, he cannot lie, and his word will not come back void. He's anchored to it. He gave people free will, right? So when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, or you feel that little tinkle when you in a bad situation, and your instinct and your gut instinct speaks up to say, hey, get up out of this. This is dangerous. And you don't leave. That's your free will. God is never going to override your free will. When you say, no, I'm cool, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to stay in this situation, that is your will. God's will was for you to leave that situation. Your gut instinct or your will, your gut instinct is telling you to leave. That's God. But your will is like, no, I'm comfortable with this person. I'm going to stay. That is your will. So when you end up unalived, when you end up being sent to your maker, you can't look up to the heavens and say, God, why did you rescue me? Because he freaking tried to rescue you. He tried. But he will never go against what he blessed you with. And he blessed you with the right to choose life or death. He will never go against that. And I have to say that because, especially because of the channel, the type of channel that I have, a lot of people will say, why did God allow this and that to happen? He didn't allow that to happen. Sometimes you have to take accountability for your actions and what you allowed yourself to stay in. And no, Black women, I'm not saying these men who are sending Black women to meet their makers, that's that Black woman's fault. No, when he decided to pick up that weapon or take that young woman out, he did that. He's responsible for that. He needs to go down for that. Me personally, I think if you take somebody else's life, especially if it's not self-defense, I think you shouldn't be here no more. Fuck just doing time. I think you ought to go out the same way you took your victim out. That's just me though. But when you see the warning signs, and all of them don't have warning signs, some of these, it's been some of the best serial killers out there that have been, like Ted Bundy, I believe was one of them. Looked normal, acted normal. Ted Bundy even had a girlfriend, I believe. And he looked completely normal, acted normal, and was still offing motherfuckers, tormenting these women and offing them. But it's something about your gut instinct that'll tell you, especially when you've been dealing with a man for a while, When you've been dealing with somebody for a while, unlike a Ted Bundy situation where you just randomly meeting a motherfucker and they off you, and you don't know this motherfucker switch, you don't know when their bad side comes out. Being in a domestic violence relationship, most of the time you know when their bad side comes out. Most of the time you know when this nigga is not off that lean, when he don't have that weed and he going through withdrawals, that demon finna come out. That's what it was for me. I knew when this motherfucker wasn't high and loaded, I was finna have to deal with this motherfucking demon. And I thank God for my situation because it only took one time for me to get hit. And I did not leave my home city and state because I was scared of that man. I left my home city and state because I was scared of myself. Because like some of these other BW content creators, they tell you to go out and get your protection, your pew-pews. I had my protection. And I wasn't scared to ever, I'm not scared to ever use it. So I had to leave my city and state, not because I'm scared of this fool, but because I ain't scared to use it. And so I had to take the easier option and say, hey, I'm still enjoying life on the outside. Let me go on and leave. It only took one time for him to disrespect me and I was out of there. That's physical disrespect though, physical abuse. The verbal and the neglect and the manipulation and the narcissist behaviors, those had constantly been there throughout the relationship. The silent treatment when he couldn't get what he wanted or when I wasn't doing what he wanted me to do, those have been there. Right? So when God came up on me and he told me to leave that relationship, and I was scared too, y'all. That's the most dangerous part of a domestic violence relationship is when you have to leave. That's when you're the most unsafest because this person is either, if they're there, they're going to try their best to prevent you from leaving, or if they're not there, they're going to come hunt your ass down. I'm telling you what I know. Right? And I was scared. The Holy Spirit came to me and he said, if you're unhappy, leave here. And if I'm for you, who dare be against you? When God tells you, if I'm for you, who dare be against you? For those of y'all who don't understand spirituality, and let me say something. Spirituality and a relationship with God is different from your black church. It's not black church. It's not hood fruit hats. It's not the pimping preacher. That's not spirituality. That's foolishness. That's mediocrity. God is not in that. You have to know God by his spirit to understand God. So for those of y'all who don't understand God, when God comes upon you with his most high Holy Spirit and he tells you, and you will know his voice. If you really are his, you'll know his voice. And he tells you something like, if I'm for you, who dare be against you? In hood terms, God saying, baby, I got your motherfucking back and I dare they ass motherfucker try it. That's what he's saying in hood terms. Double dog dare they ass try it. Bet I drop them off. Bet I spin a block for you. And that's what God told me the day that I left my domestic violence situation. Kenny, I bet I spin a block for you. I double dog dare them to try you. For other people that wouldn't have been enough because they don't know the spiritual realm. But I understand that what you cannot see is permanent and what you can see is temporary. So to have a spirit, especially the Holy Spirit, tell me that this is somebody that we cannot see. And his power is divine. The Bible says he could kill your flesh and throw your soul into hell. To have him tell me that, it empowered me, and I packed what I could, and me and my kids got up out of there. So I didn't mean to go off on that little spiel or nothing, but I had to put that in there because of the type of channel that I have and the kind of target audience. This is not a dating channel. This is not the channel this is a channel that tries to make you aware of toxic relationships. That's what Black Women Aware is. Because I notice a lot of Black women, you don't have positive male role models around you. So you really don't know the signs of when you're being manipulated or when you're in a company of a predator. Okay? So anyways, back to this Toby dude situation. Nobody is going to get my heart to turn, for Toby when they didn't turn for Treasure. When they jumped on my page, when they jumped on my channel, and they were relentless. That hate demon in them were relentless. All she deserved it because she dated white men. So a motherfucker gotta die because they in a relationship with a person of a different race. I have never looked at no black man, no matter how self-hating he was, and said, bitch, you need to die because you date white women. And God, I don't like mentioning other content creators. I know I've been talking about Paris Milan, but I watch Paris Milan. I watch Chrissy. I watch Cynthia G. Cynthia G, in my opinion, is one of the ones who is brutally honest in the BWE content world. She's brutally honest. Black Women's Fear, I feel like Black Women's Fear is blunt. Like Black Women's Fear will call you out on some shit, but even she is not as brutally honest as Cynthia G. Cynthia G is brutal with her honesty. Right? She said, I don't give a damn how bad the salt sting when she put it in the wood. God damn it, she gonna say it. Do I think she says it for malicious intent? No. I think she said because she want people to realize the dire situation that you in, and goddamn it, you need to change it. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on. I've never, as a nurse, I've never seen not a one doctor go in and diagnose a motherfucker with disease because they want you to die. They usually try to diagnose you, and then they urge patients to nip it in the bud. Goddamn it, come in early and let's take care of this shit early before it take your ass out. I think Cynthia G does the same thing, but I bring her up and I focus in on her because Cynthia G, like I said, she's brutally honest with her message. And because she comes on so strong with her message, and they say all kind of, they slander her and they say all kind of things about her. Oh, she bashes black men she hate. I have never once heard, and I've been listening to Paris Milan, I've been listening to Cynthia G and Chrissy, all three of them since like 2017. I have never heard none of those women say black men need to die because they date white women. I've never heard it. I have never heard it. So for black men to come on my channel where I'm trying to, they're not even my target audience, y'all. I tell y'all right in the name of my channel who my target audience is. My target audience is black women. And they'll come disrespectfully up in my space where they're not even welcome to disrespect women who have already expired. For those of y'all who don't know how I feel about the women on my page who have already expired, I feel like once you expire, you done charged it to the game. You back square with the house. You know what I'm saying? For anybody to come and tarnish your name and say bad things, you deserve to die because you was dating a white man. And it's almost like they stumping your coffin down a couple feet more because they're angry. How odd is that to be angry at a motherfucker who is not here anymore? I'm not angry at Toby dude because he was with a white woman. I'm not angry at the nigga at all. When I get off this live, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what the fuck I'm finna do. Finna finish decorating my cakes. I'm up cooking some kale greens. If y'all ain't never had kale greens and smoked turkey, try kale greens. They last longer and they the most healthiest type of greens out there. Finish cooking my damn kale greens because I'm trying to go keto. Watch my crime channels, my crime stories. I'm gonna take my ass to sleep. I'm not angry at that man. What? I should be angry at his tweets? No, I'm not angry at his tweets. It's obvious, right? That mindset that he has is obvious. It's common with black men. It's so damn common. I'm shocked when black men do show respect to black women. You know what I'm saying? I simply said I'm not going to support his cause. Because had that been me, had the roles been reversed, and I had been the one stabbed by my non-black partner, Toby dude will probably be amongst other hateful black men saying I deserved it because I was dating a white man. The hypocrisy, especially knowing that black men date out 3 times that of black women. He wouldn't be out after that motherfucker wouldn't donate a penny with a hole in it to my goddamn GoFundMe's. I was on Paris Moulin's live earlier, and she compared, I don't know who the young woman was. I forgot her name, but the last name is Minyard, I believe. And this young woman, I believe she was dating a white man or a man of no color. And they compared the GoFundMe's. And Paris said, look, she said the Minyard, the young lady, she said hers is at like 2,500, somewhere around there. She said, if you look at Toby dudes, his is at 50K and counting. The disrespect for black women and the carelessness for black women and the disregard for black women is pretty obvious. When you have somebody who been expired, the Minyard girl, she only got a measly 2,500 in her account. Toby dude, nigga ain't like black women, you know, said everything less. You know what I'm saying? He said everything but you B words can die. Got 50K and counting in his account for the GoFundMe. If y'all don't see something, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with y'all vision. But I'm not going to ever rep for somebody who I know if the tables were to turn and it was me, they wouldn't give a fuck. And they would say I deserve what I got because I dated outside of my race. These are the same group of men who, you know, say all the time they don't want black women. They throw their preferences up in our faces. They say all kind of disparaging things about us. Blame us for everything that's going wrong with the black community. Don't want to date or marry us. But when we finally say, fuck it, I'm going to expand my options and I'm going to go somewhere else, they got the biggest problems with it. I'll never understand it. I do not understand that. This person needs to die. This person needs to be away from their children and family for all eternity. They need to leave this life because they decided to find happiness elsewhere. That shit crazy to me. And the more that they say these things, even though I'm not even all the way right with God, let me tell y'all something. God's so goddamn good. Lord, forgive me for cussing. God's so good to the point where I've been deep in sin. I just showed y'all, I already gave y'all an example of how I was deep in sin and God still came for me. And when he came for me, he said, Candace, if I'm for you, who dare be against you? My ex, God did not want me with that man. God has showed me a time before that I was not meant to be with that man. And I went the fuck back. I went back. July 18th of 2015. And one thing about my spiritual eye, when I see demons or, you know, when God reveals certain stuff to me, you know how they say God can talk to you through visions, dreams, or he can just speak to you audibly. He does that for me. But when I see demons, I can tell when Satan is up to something by the weather. I could tell when Satan is up to something. Don't ask me to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. But the clouds get real dark and heavy. And it's almost like whatever is up there working in that heavenly realm. Because, you know, in Ephesians, it says that demons work in the heavenly realms. Right? So whatever is working, I can see them constructing and putting the plan together. Dark clouds. And whenever I see them dark clouds, if you personally around me, I'll grab you and tell you, baby, start praying over your family. I don't know what Satan is up to, but he's up to something. You know what I'm saying? And both God and Satan works through the hearts of men. So when I see them clouds and you start seeing somebody, and I've warned you, hey, warn your family or whatever, or pray for your family. You see the first person who come around you acting crazy, get away from them, because Satan using them. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. If you don't understand spiritual warfare, you're not going to get it. But God warned me 6 months ago on that date that I just gave y'all to get away from this man. That was the first time that man had physically abused me. And I went back like an idiot. My story is on this channel. If you look up Insomnia Nights, I tell my whole story on the channel. So basically what I'm telling y'all in sharing my DV experiences is no matter how deep in sin you are, God can still penetrate through all that shit and still talk to you. You know what I'm saying? He still will deal with you. He probably won't be happy with what you're doing, but he will still deal with you. Right? So anyways, it's like these men, when they come to my channel and they leave these disrespectful comments, they come into a place where they're already not welcome. Yeah, it's almost like you walking in somebody's house. They ain't gave you a key. You ain't knocked. You just barging up in the motherfucker. Take what you want and leave. They come on this channel. They disrespect these women who have already expired. It's almost like God be showing me the demonic presence that are in most of these black men. I really truly believe for black women, I believe God wants best for all his children, no matter your race or sex. But I believe for black women, I believe he understands that he sees the plight of black women. But too often we allow our will to override his, and we go out and do what the fuck we want to do. And then when the shit don't fucking work out for us, we come back and blame him. And I'm not just pointing the finger at y'all, because I've done the shit too. Got myself in a whole bunch of dumbass situations and look up to the heavens and blame God, and God show me in a vision. He will go down in a vision and show me my steps. Candace, you did this to your motherfucking self. And he don't say it like that. That's how I be saying it. When I realize, hey, I did this to my goddamn self. I can't blame God. God comes in like the Mr. Cleaner Up or the Swiffer Cleaner, whatever y'all remember that old ass commercial. He comes in like that and clean up our shit. You know what I'm saying? So this guy here, I can't really, this why, I don't really understand. I understand God's anger. I understand even the time during Noah's Ark when he flooded the earth. I understand God's anger for people. I understand God taking vengeance on people, because the world is a very evil place and people do evil shit to each other. What I will never understand about God, and I've said this many times before, I never understand his compassion or his grace or mercy. Because me just thinking about this Toby dude and the fact that, the Bible says love your enemies. I can love my enemies, but I don't have to support. The Bible don't say support this man's GoFundMe, go out and carry his flag and all. No, that man, whatever he did on this earth, I got to charge it to the house. He's square with the house, but at the same time, just because you square with the house don't mean when you get on that other realm, when you get on that other side, you don't have to take accountability for what you did in this life. Every idle word will even be counted. Every cuss word y'all done heard me say is going to be counted against me. Just like everything this man has said, or all these other black men who come on my page and they disrespect black women, it is going to be counted against them. That man, in my opinion, he made his bed. The audacity of black men to try to get black women. This is how they mule y'all. To try to get black women to advocate for this self-hating, evil, vile man. When they done said it straight up. They will never protect black women. They won't date you. Not that, for me, that's a plus. I'm sorry. That's a plus that I'm sorry. I know some of y'all black women, y'all still want to date these black men. But for me and all these black women that I come across, not just the stories that I share on Black Women Aware, but the ones that I come across on different platforms, different pages covering these stories. And I see them and and it don't even just be black women, it be children. Some of them is these men's own mothers. You know what I'm saying? So when I see black men with women of no color, to me, it is a positive thing, because then black women has that time to wake up and see who the fuck you dealing with, one, and leave and go get better. That's how I see it. I don't see it as no, oh, well, he's dating her and something's wrong with me type shit like some of these black women. I don't see that, because I see it as that is his personal relationship. That don't have shit to do with me. If he with that non-black woman because he don't like black women, I wonder what the hell he do with that bitch in private. It's almost like you buying a car, right? You bought this expensive car. The car ain't got no warranty to the first. It's got a high ass interest rate, right? But you bought this car just to stunt on other motherfuckers, right? You didn't buy the car for nothing cars supposed to be bought for. You just got it to stunt, to take it back to the hood and stunt on motherfuckers, because you know that they can't buy that shit, right? They can't afford it, right? But when you get behind closed doors and you park that car in the garage, you up late at night. Your ass can't sleep because you don't know how you gonna make the note every month. All these black men who in these relationships, like the Toby dude, he's the best example, because his neighbors came out and said they have fights and domestic disputes often. This nigga got on motherfucking different social media platforms talk about the black women he can't stand and ooh, he hate us, and we ain't in his relationship to the first, right, y'all? We out minding our goddamn business. He trying to, every time you goddamn turn around, he was probably propping that white bitch up in black women faces and everything, right? Probably propping her ass up in black women faces. And then when they go home, they fighting and shit. Neither one of them is happy with each other. And obviously, for you small thinkers out there who can't think outside the box, and we have to use disclaimers for you motherfuckers all the time. No, I don't think every black man who's with a non-black woman, their relationship works like this. But I think it works like this for the people or the black men who are dating out for all the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Dating out because you don't like yourself. You know what I'm saying? I personally, if I was a white woman, I would hate to be with a man like that. I got to run around and be the basket case. I got to run around with this basket case, motherfucker. Because he don't want to goddamn take some counseling, go see a professional and get some help and heal himself. So he, got me up as a prop so I can make other motherfuckers mad. I would hate that shit. But I personally believe all this shit is happening. I believe the fact that, because I know 2020, the DV rate with black women, it got a little bit more serious. It started to go up as the quarantine was enacted. Like when they started to encourage people to quarantine and they didn't really want you going out and doing anything, the DV rate and the child abuse rate went up. I believe spiritually that was God's way of highlighting and saying, can y'all see what I see? There's something wrong with these men. Y'all need to leave them alone. And don't let nobody confuse y'all. And I'm going to tell y'all, like I told y'all earlier in this video, you know a person by their walk. Just because somebody quote a couple Bible scriptures or they say they know God, that don't mean they fucking know God. Because I know a lot of y'all don't respect the God that I serve, because these men quote the goddamn Bible. These motherfuckers don't live the will of God. If they was living the will of God for their life, I'm telling you, you can't deny the God's spirit. You can feel his spirit when you close to it. God don't spew. He does not do anything out of hatred. God don't even accept certain gifts from people if they were not done out of love. Cain and Abel. Abel's gift was accepted. Cain's was not. God don't give a fuck that you give. You can give till you goddamn blue in the face. He studies your fucking heart. If your giving was not done in secret, if you didn't do it with a compassionate heart, he not finna bless that goddamn shit. Y'all know how many people I have met in my walk with Christ? And these not just normal people. I've met people who spiritually know God like I do. And some of them have fallen off by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing shit out of love and compassion no more. They doing it because they know if they do this, God gonna bless them with that, because he's anchored to his word. But they forget that the loophole to that God uses back on them is, yeah, you probably paid your tithes. Yeah, you probably prayed and went to church and served God and did right all throughout the week. But if you're not doing that shit with love and compassion, with the heart and mind of Christ, he's not blessing that goddamn shit. Because you did it for yourself. You did it out of selfish gain. God ain't for that shit. So whenever you see one of these niggas, these self-hating men quoting the Bible, and they doing it to manipulate the word to use it for their own investment, that should tell your ass right there they're not of God. Because anybody who has that real conviction, that real Holy Spirit conviction on them, they not going to do no shit like that. I don't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I have never gotten on anybody's platform and said, oh, in Ephesians this, chapter this, verse this, it says to do. No. One, because I'm smart enough to know that people will shun you and they don't understand. They don't, because if somebody don't want to believe, they're not going to believe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the type of person, I don't know if I'm antisocial or introvert, but it ain't that I don't give a damn about people knowing God. It's more so that once I tell you about Christ and you reject it, that's between you and God. They ain't got shit to do with me no more. I'm let it alone. I'm not going to lose no sleep. I'm not going to force you. I'm not no Jehovah's Witness. I ain't going to knock on your door. You denied it. All right. It's between you and God. I did what I was supposed to do. But don't let these men manipulate y'all just because they spew out a Bible verse. Make y'all think that they for God. The devil know the goddamn Bible. Just because somebody know the Bible don't mean they're for God. And then y'all fucking around and mad at God. And he ain't had no hand in that shit. This Toby guy, I feel like that's the bed he made. And hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I should say right place, right time, or wrong place, wrong time. But I personally feel like, because sometimes I get premonitions, or sometimes God will show me a vision. I feel like he was warned like a long time ago to get out of that relationship. And he did not. I don't know. A lot of times these men, they have such toxic egos. They want to save face. Back to my car example. Instead of just letting the car go because you can't afford the motherfucker. You up losing sleep, working extra hours at the job, letting other bills slip, robbing Peter to pay Paul to pay for a motherfucking car that you cannot afford. Instead of just going back to the dealership and saying, hey, I got to take that L's and get his goddamn car back, or selling it or doing whatever to get yourself out of that bind. You trying to save face so you don't look like a goddamn fool in front of everybody else. So that's what I think he was doing. I really, truly, I got a strong feeling he stayed in that relationship because he was trying to save face. And think about it. Cynthia G had this goddamn series up. I don't know if she still does the series or not, but it's called Who They Really Choose. And in that series, she has hundreds of pictures of black men with non-black women. And most of these non-black women, they're not high value, right? And the black men, they settle for these women because like most of these women will let these men control them and manipulate them and use them, and they're not going to put any boundaries or anything up like black women. So these men can just run wild and do what the fuck they want to do. So they get with these, these type of low value women, right? So the Toby dude, the girl he was with, I believe she was like a Instagram model or OnlyFans. She was in something like that. She's actually pretty. I don't think that she's pretty. She was fit. She was in shape. And he probably was trying to save face. Like, I don't want to leave her, or I don't want y'all to know it didn't work out with this pretty woman of no color. Right? So he probably stuck it out to save face, because you done did all this hating and dusting up the internet with all this hate. So you don't want nobody to know that you and this girl didn't work out. That's what I think happened. And then she ultimately probably couldn't take his shenanigans no more, because let's face it, don't nobody just stab no motherfucking body. And when I look at the pictures, he looks bigger than her. So I'm assuming, and he don't look fat. I know the difference between fat and muscle. He don't look fat. He looks like muscular wise. He was bigger than her as far as his stance and his height and shit. He was bigger than her. So I'm thinking to myself, one, don't nobody just stab no goddamn body for no reason. Two, if she pulled out a knife on him and stabbed his ass and he couldn't overpower that little ass bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, either you was inebriated or under the influence of something that you couldn't defend yourself, or something happened or something led up to that. Don't nobody just come out and just stab nobody. So when people, some of these black men, they have been getting angry because some black women have come out and said maybe it was self-defense. Not that we care, we just, entertaining it, because it is an ironic case, and it's funny, like very weird how it all happened, right? So some black women have speculated, hey, maybe it was self-defense. Maybe he was coming after her and all, and she was probably in the kitchen somewhere and picked up a knife and dabbed his ass. Like, I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing because at the theories. I'm trying to come up with the theories of how it happened, because it still hasn't all come out, right? It still hasn't all come out. So that's all I have to say about it, y'all. I'm sorry I didn't mean to make this video longer than what the hell it should have been, But I haven't been on here in a while, and it was just multiple different things that I wanted to talk to y'all about. I hope y'all got a little bit more insight on my viewpoint of the whole thing. That dude paid with his life for how he lived his life. He's back square with the house. That's not a way, because y'all love turning people's words. That's not a way of saying I forgave him. I don't know what I should forgive him for, you know what I mean? Because that was his life. He chose that woman. He chose that relationship. He got into bed with that. And ultimately, he's sleeping with he in the ground. He pushing daisies now because of choices he made, So, hey, it is what it is. This is Black Women Aware. I thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below. Y'all have yourselves a great one. I'm going to sign out now.